Lopez wants it away.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza and the Mets lead 3-2.
Bartolo has done it! The impossible has happened!
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mets fans of all ages, here is your host, Nick Durst. Hello, baseball fanatics and all you die-hard Mets supporters and sufferers out there. Welcome to the Bleav in the Mets podcast. I'm your host, Nick Durst, a former on-air host for the Brooklyn Cyclones, and I am also a lifelong suffering Mets fan. And today, I am boiling hotter than a kettle at the bottom of a volcano. It's time to talk about the New York Mets and their roller coaster of a season so far. Moving forward here on the Bleav in the Mets podcast, we'll have weekly episodes with guests. Today, it's going to be a shorter episode, just so you can get to know me and my thoughts and feelings on the Mets right now. So let's get into it. Oh, the Mets, the Mets. The endless source of frustration and hope, all wrapped in an orange and blue package. They had us all believing we'd see a new era, a resurgence, a World Series. What we got was a circus without the cotton candy and popcorn. I mean, come on, guys. We're Mets fans. We're used to suffering, but this year, this takes the cake, bakes it, and tosses it into the trash. Sometimes you get excited for things. We were very excited for the Mets in the offseason, but sometimes it's time to move on and throw things out. The other night, I was making chicken burgers on the grill. One of them fell on the floor. I tried to pick it up, rinse it off, but eventually I had to toss it and move on to the other burgers. And that's what the Mets are going to have to do here at the trade deadline, it seems like. It's time to move on. Sure, the team has had shining moments from future stars like Kodai Senga and Francisco Alvarez, but we've also had enough face palms to cause a national shortage of palm trees. The injuries, the blown leads, the questionable decisions. It's like the baseball gods are playing a cosmic game of gotcha with us. And I think I'll put a petition in to rename the team the New York Mets to the New York Mess. It's fitting, right? But wait, hold on to your foam fingers, folks. The trade deadline is approaching, and you know what that means. It's shopping or selling time. There's more deals being made here than during the holiday season when everyone is storming the department stores and going to Amazon.com. The Mets front office, that's Billy Epler, needs to wake up and smell the hot dogs. Because if they don't do something, the team is heading for another wait till next year speech. I can't handle that again. The team needs a move that'll shake the league and send a message to the clubhouse and the team's rivals. I'm talking about a trade that'll make the other teams tremble in their cleats. There are two thought processes here: buy or sell. First, let's look at a buying scenario. Right now, the team is under 500. But if they somehow get above 500 or at 500 before the trade deadline, and there is any glimmer of hope that the team is going to go for it all next year or this year, the Mets need reinforcements. The team needs players who can hit the ball like they mean it, run the bases like their life depends on it, and catch fly balls without causing mass heart attacks among the fans. How many times this season have we seen the defense be putrid and the roster up and down the stacked lineup have nobody consistently hitting? It's too much. Too many pop outs, too many strikeouts, too many low batting averages, too much bad defense, too many pop flies that were dropped. I will give credit where credit is due, though. The stolen base success rate has been great. Need to run a little more, though. It is amazing how this team's offense is made up of exactly the same guys from last year, plus Alvarez and Beatty. And that team won 101 games. And yet this year, they can't hit for average. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to promote Eric Chavez to bench coach. The team surely misses him as hitting coach, where he succeeded. And you look at this team, it's all, like I said, it's all the same roster wise, offensively, brought the whole team back. But Elielthor tried to sell us on what a great September Eduardo Escobar had. The rest of his season was terrible. You bring him into this year, he's awful as well. Brett Beatty, he's been up. Hasn't been the scorching red hot bat we thought he was going to be coming out of the minors. Mark Vientos, he had a cup of tea and they barely played him. I don't know what's going on there. We'll get into that in future episodes about who is really setting the Mets lineup. But looking at this team, there's a lot that has gone wrong. The offense is one of them. I was at the game 3 against the Padres in the wild card series where they got one hit. And I said to myself, if this team doesn't improve their offense, I am not coming to a game in 2023. And I've been true to my word so far. They tried to improve the offense. They went to get Carlos Correa, and it fell through. And the offense has not been good. And could someone please tell the Mets pitchers to stop throwing home run derby sessions during games? It's like they're trying to win a prize for the most balls sent into orbit. Earth to pitchers, keep the ball down, not up in the nosebleed section. Maybe Aaron Myers, who is a member of the Mets coaching staff and threw lights out against Pete Alonso in the home run derby, can teach the Mets pitching staff a thing or two about how to not give up big hits. But hey, let's sprinkle some funny in this emotional stew. Remember that time we thought about winning the World Series, but ended up looking like we were auditioning for the circus? Clowns, trapeze artists, and a couple of acrobatic base running blunders. We've got it all. And that brings me to why the Mets should and probably will sell. I don't see any team trading for Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer or Starling Marte with their big contracts. So I don't know about those guys being moved. Mark Canha, he would be great to move, but is anybody going to be giving up much for Mark Canha, who has been relegated to the bench here for the Mets? At the very least, though, I think the Mets should try to trade Tommy Pham, who is having a solid season and has become the everyday left fielder for the Mets. Try to get some value as he is having a career year. David Robertson is most likely the top trade piece that the Mets have. It would be great to have him in the bullpen next season. So maybe they could hold on to him or re-sign him. He could potentially bring back a decent return. Hey, it has got to be better than Trevor Gott, who has not looked good since the Mets got him in their big trade. So, my fellow Mets fans, let's buckle up and prepare for the wild ride that is the rest of this season. We'll cling to hope like a news reporter in a hurricane and pray that we come out on top, because you gotta believe in the Mets. This is what being a Mets fan is all about. A never-ending hope that someday, just someday, we'll see a World Series parade down the streets of New York. Until then, let's laugh, let's cry, and laugh some more as we watch our beloved Mets navigate the treacherous waters of the rest of the 2023 baseball season. Remember, folks, we're all in this together, and with a little luck and a lot of hard work and maybe a dash of that Mets magic and a lot of Steve Cohen's money, maybe the Mets might just turn this ship around. This has been Nick Durst, your ranting host and depressed Mets fan, signing off. I kept this episode short and bittersweet so you can get a feel for me, but future episodes will feature me being joined by fellow Mets fans and sports broadcasters and commentators, as well as Mets beat reporters. Make sure you never miss a show, never miss an episode of the Bleav in Mets podcast here on the Bleav Sports Network. So you got to do this, and trust me, you won't regret it. Make sure you are following the show on YouTube and all social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Bleav in the Mets. That's the handle right there, at BLEAVINTHEMETS. Bleav in the Mets. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show on whatever audio podcast platform you're listening on, whether that's Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, and so many more. And you can find me on Twitter at Nick_Durst. That's at NICK_DURST, Nick Durst, Nick_Durst. And on Instagram at Nick's Food and Stuff, NICKSFOODANDSTUFF, Nick's Food and Stuff. Let me know what you think of the show. And until next time, everybody, let's go Mets.